As the world slumbers in the cool embrace of midnight, a silent threat emerges from the shadows of the ancient and whispering forest. The small house stands vulnerable at the edge of the wilderness, bathed in the silver glow of a distant and completely uncaring moon. On the porch, Lucky the dog rests peacefully, but his instincts remain sharp even in the deepest moments of his nightly quiet slumber. The air is thick with the sound of crickets, yet a subtle shift in the wind signals the approach of something truly malevolent. Deep within the dense undergrowth, a pair of tiny cold eyes flicker with a predatory hunger, fixated on the warmth of the home. Lucky's eyes snap open, his muscles tensing as he shifts from a peaceful sleep into a state of absolute and very high alert readiness. From the darkness, a nightmare with 100 legs slithers across the soil, its movements fluid and terrifyingly precise toward the open porch. The giant centipede's black, chitinous armor glimmers under the moonlight as its many legs rhythmically beat against the dry and fallen forest leaves. Lucky stands tall, a low growl vibrating through his chest as he prepares to defend the threshold of his family's small and quiet sanctuary. A sudden flicker of the porch light reveals the monster's true scale. A massive, venomous creature stretching over a foot in its total length. The beast coils its long, segmented body like a spring, preparing to strike with lethal speed at the furry guardian blocking its dark way. Its terrifying mandibles click and snap, dripping with potent toxins. It could paralyze any creature unfortunate enough to cross its path this night. Despite the horror before him, Lucky's gaze remains steady, fueled by a deep-seated loyalty that knows no fear in the face of sudden death. The centipede lunges with explosive speed, but Lucky is faster, his paws striking the ground as he cuts off its direct and dangerous path. The porch becomes a battlefield, where every second counts, the dog using his weight to keep the intruder away from the main house door. Lucky snaps his jaws at the writhing mass, narrowly missing the hard shell as the centipede twists with unnatural and very serpentine agility. The monster darts left and right, trying to find a gap in the dog's defense, its legs settling loudly against the hard wooden floor. In a horrific move, the centipede attempts to scale Lucky's leg, its sharp claws gripping onto his fur with a desperate and hungry intent. Lucky spins and shakes his powerful body, flinging the multi-legged nightmare across the porch to maintain his distance from those venomous and sharp fangs. A sharp cry pierces the night as the centipede sinks its kyre-like kims into Lucky's paw, injecting a burning and very painful dose of venom. The pain is excruciating, but the brave dog refuses to back down, his commitment to his family far outweighing his own physical and growing suffering. With a ferocious growl, Lucky lunges back, his teeth finding purchase on the centipede's hard, segmented back, crushing down with all his animal might. In slow motion, the dog tosses the monster high into the air, a desperate attempt to keep the poison away from his own brave heart. The centipede lands in the dirt but immediately recovers, its alien intelligence focused solely on piercing the living shield that stands firmly before it. Lucky grabs the creature once more, dragging it away from the doorstep and into the shadows of the nearby and very thorny garden bushes. The centipede fights back, wrapping its long body around Lucky's snout in a suffocating grip, its legs scratching at his very sensitive and dark eyes. They tumble together in the dirt, a blur of fur and chitin, as the battle for survival reaches its most violent and chaotic peak tonight. Exhaustion begins to take its toll, Lucky's breathing becoming ragged and heavy as the venom starts to circulate through his tired and aching veins. His limbs feel heavy and his vision blurs, but the thought of the sleeping children inside keeps his spirit burning bright and very fierce. Every muscle in his body screams for rest, yet Lucky's eyes never leave the monster, waiting for the perfect moment to end this nightmare. The centipede prepares for one last and desperate strike, coiling its body for a final lunge toward the dog's vulnerable and exposed furry throat. Summoning every ounce of his remaining strength, Lucky prepares his counterattack, his heart pounding against his ribs like a heavy and fast drum. With a final and decisive snap, Lucky's jaws close around the center of the beast, tearing the nightmare in two with a powerful jerk. The two halves of the centipede twitch and finally fall still, the immediate threat to the household finally neutralized by the brave furry guardian. Lucky stands victoriously for a moment, glancing back at the door one last time before his legs give out beneath his heavy and poisoned weight. The first light of dawn breaks through the trees, revealing the carnage on the porch as the family begins to wake up for the day. The owner rushes outside, gasping in horror at the sight of the giant dead predator and his loyal companion lying motionless on the cold floor. Tears stream down his face as he scoops Lucky's limp body into his arm, feeling the faint and rhythmic pulse of a true living hero. Minutes feel like hours as they race toward the emergency vet, the car speeding through the quiet and sunny morning streets of the town. Inside the clinic, the medical team works frantically, administering anti-venom and fluids to save the life of the brave and noble four-legged warrior. Finally, Lucky's eyes flutter open, resting on his relieved master, a weak but happy wag of his tail signaling his incredible and miraculous recovery. Weeks later, Lucky is back on his feet, running through the sun-drenched yard with the children he risked everything to protect that dark night. The scars on his muzzle are badges of honor, reminders of a love so deep it was willing to face an ancient and venomous nightmare. He stands once more as the eternal sentry, looking out toward the dark woods, ready to defend his home against any future and hidden threats. Celebrate the bond that protects us all. For animals are not just pets, they are the loyal souls who guard our very lives every day.